Hey, it's Spence, the evil genius.
Indeed it is. Welcome, it's Spence, and I'm looking at my screen and just trying to make sure, there we go, I fit in. I'm using the StreamYard's multi-view, and I have to be in a farther distance, but today I'm pretty excited. I'm going to share with you, and I'm hoping that it will show up on the screen here, the new MinuteLaunch Coach, which is one of the features that's been added to the capabilities of the MinuteLaunch AI suite. By the way, today is January 19th, Monday, 2026. The MinuteLaunch Coach brings the same incredible level of intelligence that we offer on the back end to you and the other administrators of the site, to your users on the front end, for any of the context or content or logic or output that you want them to have. It could be for creating media. It could be for answering questions. It could be for directing them to what you need them to know. It could be for sharing skills. It could be for cross-member communication and sharing. Remember, we have another tool called the Media Library P2P, which allowed anybody to create and share things in their own personal media library. Well, imagine if inside your own site, you can actually make it easier for people with AI's help to create and share content with other users of the site. Things like that. Let me show you what I've got. And I'm also hopefully going to get a good view here. I'm going to try to see if I can fix this. This is what I'm not digging about StreamYard, is the way that this displays this is so just weird. I don't know if I can make it any bigger in StreamYard. So I'm going to try it for 1 second and then I'm going to move on. I'll just get out of the way, get my head out of the way. That'll be as helpful as I can get. The benefit of this is that the MinuteLaunch Coach is fully customizable on the back end. So here's actually the MinuteLaunch Coach stylized for one of my clients. And if I go on the back end, it works with all of the other stuff in the MinuteLaunch suite. So if I'm using the MinuteLaunch suite and I've got simple site focus on, the whole WordPress experience gets simplified down. But the things like setting it up are super easy because we include the API keys. You don't have to pay for it. We include the ability to give the personality you want to the particular AI assistant. Notice I've set it up as such so that it will be a certain way and a certain behavior. And I can also give it a different type of a style, right? Supportive or expert, conversational. I'm going to go, in this case, change it to expert. The professor versus the casual, teacher. Context sources. Any custom post type can be used for a source. And in this case, I'm just going to use posts and pages, but I can also use previous conversations or anything if I want, in addition to what is being used from the internet. Notice I can also use the user's own conversation as context. I can allow it, if I want, to search the internet. Now, this is important where, forgive my voice, as always, I've talked too much today. If you wanted to have a combination of internet information as well as your own private context, you can mix and match, right? So I can either always search the internet only when the message has certain words or never. I'm just going to say no, because we want this to be specific to the Chicago broker site. Cross-user context. This one is really super sexy. This is the one that will make it possible to share information amongst users. So let's say some really good questions get asked in your social network, for example. This allows you to have one user make information that's immediately available for others to be used via the coach. Like, Susie just asked that question and this is what she said. Super awesome. I'm going to leave that one on. And then I have the display is very simple. These are all designed for the AI to set up for you or set up yourself. But you can customize it, like what's the name of the title? What's the page it shows up on, or use a short code? What do you want to have it say as a welcome message in the placeholder? What's the primary and secondary colors? You have a link that you can use for branding or for referring people. Forgive me for my voice again. For MinuteLaunch itself, if you are an affiliate and you want to see people buying the link from you, right? Built in as an option. This one is really important. Access control. By default, it does not allow the public to use this. That would be logical. You don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry coming in, but you can turn it on if you wanted and change the ability for what people sees to benign content. You could turn it into a public accessible chat. You're probably going to burn through the allocation of resources I give to you if you do that, but it's possible. I think out of the box, just having your logged in users use it is enough. And that way, with some other granular controls, you get everything you need on the front end. First one, what you're going to see is pretty crazy stuff. Now, you can also load these default skills that I give it, or you can add custom skills. The custom skills are things that, for example, teach it exactly how to build stuff, do stuff, say stuff, and so forth, just like on the back end. And then finally, here's some information about the usage, where you can use the shortcode and custom endpoints. Let's use this in real life now. This is a website, chicagobroker.com, that is designed for people looking for a leasing agent, and it has specific pages. If we go to the website, there are specific pages that, by the way, MinuteLaunch has built that are in the services directory, right? They're address-based, location-based pages with information. So we've got all this stuff that will be super awesome to have people ask questions about without having to browse around the traditional way. Let's use the tool for some help. I'm going to use my voice, even though my voice is a little trashed. Hey, I'm interested in opening up a medical office in either downtown or Streeterville. Do you have any resources to help me out in that regard? This is just plain old, like, this is not a magic trick in 2026, but to have it in your own site and customizable as easy as just using MinuteLaunch is fantastic. Fantastic. This is the kind of stuff that you normally have to pay for, set up, subscriptions, all this crazy stuff. This is just built in for one price. By the way, MinuteLaunch is available starting at $97 a month, self-hosted, but that includes your API key. You can do $197 fully hosted with email support, unlimited help via email, security and Cloudflare, backups, and so forth. And you can even do fully assisted for your marketing for less than the cost that you're paying now for whatever other janky CRMs and things you're using. You can get a fully blown production CRM, site builder, client tool. I mean, I can go down the list of the features, but these are the things that really are amazing when you think about it. So here it's given me access to my answer, medical district. And when I set it up, I said, look, here's the thing. I want it to automatically link to the content. So it's automatically set up where it's referring to the various pages that are in the actual directory. And now I can ask it for some more information. Remember, I did not give it the permission to go into the internet for me because I don't really want it to do that. I want it to focus on what we do here. Can you tell me a little bit about what Chicago Broker services are and who are the principals? I already know the answer. But the idea is, if it's able to use the context in the site, it's going to answer based upon the context in the site and get better at doing it instead of just randomly being a ChatGPT. So here it's saying the answers that I need, right? What does it specialize in? What does it do? And so forth. It links to the About page, services directory, and so forth. When I'm using this in a more broad context, I can even have it create stuff, do stuff. So right now I'm in Chicago Broker, and I can say things like, you know, what's the phone number to reach the people at Chicago Broker? Let's see if it can do this for me. It should, because I think that's on the About page. Interesting. That's something that it didn't give the answer to, but I'll have to work on that. That one is the wrong kind of an answer. It should be able to do that. Skills. Now, this is interesting. I'm going to show you skills, but in the context of another site that has more liberal settings to it. Blocks are similarly things that you build from this site, but whenever I do a search, I could do save search for medical Streeterville. And for me, particularly as the logged in user, I get my own set of saved results, which is really awesome because next time I come back, I can just continue my research. Let me show you over here where I've got on MinuteLaunch a couple examples of stuff. Here we go. So if I go to ML Coach, I think I've got it on. This one is set up more liberal. This is designed to be able to do some crazy cool stuff, building stuff, etc. And again, if I look at my settings, I can just double check that that's true, including like context sources, right? If I got internet search and all the rest of that on. Also, by the way, the ease of updating is here. I just go to the plugin manager, click a button, and I always know that I've got the latest version of everything. All right, so let's try one other thing here. Can you build me a beautiful landing page in HTML5 that says, "Hi Spence, this is MinuteLaunch Coach. My name's Fernando. I can help you out." Make the background black, the font white, bold, and an orange call to action button with white letters. Now, I'm not saying that your clients are going to want to build stuff, but let's say your clients want to do research and they want to create a PDF file. They want to create a dossier. They want to make something to put on their website. I could give skills to my coach, and will be, that is the same information that's in my documentation, but with real user examples. Now watch this. It's actually written out the code, and then it can be previewed and expanded so that you can come to my site and get exactly the examples that I'm trying to show you. This is remarkably helpful for anybody that's in the business of providing teaching, coaching, code, whatever. And the person can literally take this content, right? I'll just highlight it here. And one of the tools that I'm going to add into this is a quick copy button. But if they took this here and they made a new page or post on their own site, they would instantly have all of the knowledge that I shared with them through my MinuteLaunch coach named Fernando. Instant ML coach page. And now in this case, I use MinuteLaunch Canvas Block, which is our building tool of choice, makes things awesome. I'll leave the header in place, and shazam, without any experience, I'm able to create something that, let's just actually adjust that a little bit. I'm able to create something that is instantly what I want it to be and how I want it to be. Now, one of the things that I noticed here, by the way, is when I put it on my site, it reversed the background out a little. So what I'm going to tell the coach is, I'm going to say, "Thanks, coach, but," and I got to go find the page here where the coach is. Where are you, coach? Coach is buried in here somewhere. Let's go here. I'm not sure where I lost his thread, but I'm going to go back here. Notice if I go back to the chat and I'm logged in, I can see the skills, the blocks, the other things that I've built in the past. One of the things I'm curious about is, this is why I do these things live, is like, I don't save anything. I didn't save what I just built, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to give him the thing that he built just to start over. And what I got to do, just for sanity here, is I'm going to move this to the end so I don't lose it. I'm going to say, "Hey, can you help me out and fix this HTML you gave me so that it's for sure overriding the theme underneath? The background's black, the font's white, the call to action button orange with white text." Okay, so the idea is sometimes you might need or want to give it something that is specifically designed to override what you have. And in this case, when I'm using a theme underneath, obviously that might be a useful tool. Okay, so he's ensured that that's the case. And let's just see if he gave me what I needed. I'm going to ask him, but yes, but give me the entire HTML code, the whole thing. He gave me only the changes there. So, and by the way, what I didn't do before, but I'm going to do it now, is I'm going to call this build a block help, save it. And then that means the next time I come back, I've got chats, or if he built something for me like this, I could save that. I'm going to save this block and call it block built by Fernando. So what I was able to do is instantly, as a user, get content and outcome built by the tool, as well as the chat to go back to. And then hopefully this will prove out to work. This has been a dream since, I mean, the earliest days of what I've been doing, that we could actually have a tool for public use that does everything we need it to do. I can see that it's messing around with the width of the page a little bit, but not bad. I would also probably, in this case, hide the header and footer, because this looks like it's designed to be a full width page. And not too bad. Like, considering there's a million things I could teach it to do, this is the direction that we're heading, that we've got a tool that has all the back-end publishing capability, all of the logic, all of the whatever. The coach, by the way, and I'll show you one last thing, the coach can actually use the context of my chats. So one of the things that is really, 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 really cool to me is if I go back here, I'm going to do new here. Say, hey, can you tell me the last thing that I talked about with Doug Sheehan? I know I had a conversation with Doug Sheehan. It's spelled wrong there, but let's see if it picks it up anyways. So I used Fathom and Zoom to have a call, Doug Sheehan. And it is capable of actually finding the details of that call and figuring out what I said in it, because that content is saved inside of Fathom. So he says here, I can see there are several recorded conversations that I had and what the topics are. And I could ask him for details. List the 3 most important things I talked about with Doug in my last phone call. Why would this be useful? Well, let's say you have a client and they had a call with you, and the client wants to know, like, hey, what the hell were we talking about? What are we building? What are we doing? I could use this to actually show, teach, share, and whatever, right? It's complaining a little bit that it only has partial access to the excerpts, which is probably true, because I have to change the settings a little bit to get it more. But the fact that it knows about it is awesome. And you can also do this. List who are the administrators on the site. This one is a little scary, but if you set it up to do so, you can get the information. It should be just me, I hope. List out site users who are admins. I'm going to check my settings too, because I know it does this, but it might be because I've disabled that access. Let's see. Interesting answer. Wrong answer, but I know it's capable of it. So let me just see real quick, and then I won't belabor the point. That if I go here and I go to coach and I go to context sources, it does have it in there. So it's interesting. I'll have to work on that a little bit because it should know that. So I'm going to remind it of that and see if it changes the answers. Just to remind you, you have access to the post data for users. Just look at that data and see who's the administrator or administrators. Fascinating. Well, today is the first day I'm releasing this, and I'm going to continue to improve it. So I'm going to accept that as a partial win. My goal for this is to make the front-end tool for Coach and the back-end tool outcome-based. Instead of worrying about all the details of how to make stuff and do stuff, you'll just tell it, I want this kind of thing, and it will just put together agentically all of the parts in a process and give you what you want, kind of like the Mad Libs game. Some of these little nuances are easily fixed, but I mean, these are just testing and tweaking. I've also got an improvement. I might as well just show you to the MinuteLaunch image editor. So now it fully supports ChatGPT as well as Gemini Flash Nano Banana 3.0. So if I go on the back end here and I go to the dashboard, we can use the tool itself for both not only editing existing images, but creating new images using the very same chat capability, right? So if we go over here to image editor, first of all, the settings allow us to choose what's the default. Notice we have Nano Banana 3, 2.5, GPT-5. By the way, this is 1.5, so I'm waiting for the new 2.0 to be in an API, which will make it better, but it's still pretty cool. If we go to create an image, I included a new tool, so you can not only select a reference image, like, I've been doing all these videos, or multiple reference images, but you can also use the prompt builder. And the prompt builder lets you immediately choose really cool dynamics and things to put in there, along with your prompt of what to do with this. And then it gives you the choice of ratio, spits it out. When the image is spit out and it shows up in the media library, you now have the iteration capability much more mature as well. So for example, I made some posters today. If I was making a poster of me and this is Bernie, he and I look like brothers from another mother across the pond. I said, make a poster, Gen X, Revenge of the Gen Xers. And here's the prompt, right? 2 dudes in a movie poster, blah, blah, blah. If I want to iterate on this, I can just go back here and iterate it on the same way, right? Prompt builder, change some things. So it gives you a lot more power. And it's also enabled, of course, fully with the dude in the site, the Fluent MCP, the coach. All of them have the capacity to work with this. So I'm really excited. All of this is brought to you in a self-contained box you own, mobile friendly, ready to replace your CRM, your marketing tools, your publishing tools. 3 plugins, 4 plugins max, you're done. None of these 120 plugins and spray painting the bridge. It just changes the whole experience into something really remarkable. I'm amused too, because I took this from the picture I took today was from the Zoom call, and I'm wearing this very same thing in the picture, which is pretty funny. Anyway, this is the update for today. I'll see you tomorrow.